MAGA crowd in the whole country. I really didn't believe him because I've been through so many great MAGA, folks. I thought, sure, it's the summer in Florida. Nobody's around, right? Wow, you guys are hardcore. I love you. Thank you so much, every one of you. This is amazing. Thank you. Where's Dick Morris? All right, wave your hand, Dick. Thank you so much, sir. This guy's a treasure. Thank you, Sue Snowden and Larry, for leading this great group. Linda Stock, Kevin Sorbo. When you get introduced by Hercules, it doesn't get better than that. It doesn't. I've had President Trump actually introduce me, but it's like, all right, well, President Trump's better. Okay, I'm sorry. But you're right up there, Kevin. And Sam, your amazing wife, who I just adore. She's doing so much to fight this culture war. Thank you, Sam. Thank you to everybody. I'm going to tell you this, and you're going to be shocked. One of the most raucous crowds I've been around before this one, because this one takes the cake now, was Southern California. If that doesn't give you hope, I don't know what will. Honestly, if that doesn't. San Diego County Republicans were insane. I was like, whoa, they're woke. They're not woke, they're awake. A lot of them are woke, but the ones that were there that night were not woke, they were awake. Then I went to New York City to speak, and my team said, somebody just clapped. Who's from New York? Who's a refugee from New York? Okay, you guys escaped. And my team said it's going to be bad. We're going to be in New York for 3 days. We got to bring security. They're going to throw hot coffee in your face. Who knows what will happen? We're walking down the streets of Manhattan, and people are like walking by me, and they turn around and they go, Kari, their New York accent. Don't stop fighting. Keep fighting for us. We're with you. I'm really convinced that the vast majority, not a minor majority, the vast majority of people are with us. I really think they want to make America great again. I talked to President Trump on the phone the other night, and he said, Kari, it's not 51%, it's not 53%, it's 89%. And we're going to work on that other, 11%, because I think in short order they're going to be with us too. I really do. Because we're frankly on the Titanic right now. We've got Joe Biden as the captain. He's already steered us into the iceberg. And have you noticed some of these political swamp creatures? They're there on the deck, rearranging the deck chairs. They're playing the music, trying to keep us on there. And we're like, no. We don't want to go down with the ship. We want to save America. So we're not going to happen. We're not going to let that happen. We, the people, are going to make sure that we save this great nation.
Good, man.
Texas, Tennessee, Florida, Iowa, I'm trying to think of all the places we've been. Georgia, I was just there this last couple of days, West Virginia, and Florida. We have seen enough of this nightmare called Joe Biden, and we want our country back. I realize that the powers that be, and I mean the evil people who are stealing power, they don't want us talking about stolen elections. Right? You can talk about anything else, literally. Anything. The things that used to be taboo are not taboo anymore. You can go into a first grade class and tell boys they can be girls. You can tell a sixth grader that they should shun their parents and get a sex change. But you can't talk about corruption in our elections. You know what, we're going to talk about it, and now we're going to sing about it, thanks to Ed. We're #1 today on the music charts. #1. God is so amazing. I never ever thought I would be #1 on the music chart. If you would have told me that, 4 or 5 years ago. Oh, we might be #1 on hip hop? Is that rap? I might be the #1 rap artist in America right now. Okay, my kids are really gonna lose their minds. I sent them in our family text thread, I said, Mom's #1 on the music charts. And my daughter, I gotta get this acronym right, because I might screw it up and really embarrass. And no, how do you say it? I don't want to say the F word. Well, I'm just not gonna say it. She basically said the F word like, no effing way. Yes, effing way, Ruby. Where are you, Ruby? She's in here somewhere. Yes, Mama's on top of the music charts, okay? Fauci, no Fauci way. Kevin said, don't say the F word, just say Fauci is the F word. Honestly. Fauci is worse than the F word. He's worse than the F word. So honestly, when Ed came to me and said, we love that speech, can we use your spoken word? We want to put a song together. I thought if we can get more people feeling that they can talk about our elections, because sadly, even Republicans are saying don't talk about it. We have to talk about election corruption, guys. Seriously. I'm just a mother, okay? And I know that in my own family, if we've got troubles, you don't solve those troubles by sticking your head in the sand, right? If you've got trouble in your marriage, if you find out your teenager's using drugs or something horrible like that, you don't stick your head in the sand and go, the problem will go away. You address it head on. That's why we need more mothers involved in politics, because we know how to solve problems. Crazy. So, they didn't just corrupt our elections and rig our elections, they stole our government from we the people. And I'm tired of it. And ignoring it's not going to make it go away. I was sounding the alarm bells. And I had people say, just be quiet, it's going to hurt your political career. I don't give a damn about my political career. I really don't. I don't want a political career. I want my country back. I really do. I have an 18-year-old son. He's almost 19. He reminds me of that every day. And my 20-year-old. And I just want them to have a country that is as good as the country I grew up in. And guess what? We're going to get there. I promise you that. We're going to get there. Would you believe, though, that they cheated bigger in 22 than they did in 20? At least in Arizona they did. They went, holy smokes, we got Trump in heels versus a total, I'm using President Trump's words because he called my opponent this. He goes, man, she's a drip and a dud. And she really was. I mean, I'm not even trying to be mean. It's just she did not have the ability to communicate policy because the left has no policy. They don't. Somebody said none. Whatever they do have that's policy, all you got to do is look to LA, New York, San Francisco, Pennsylvania, Philadelphia. Have you seen the video of these cities? They don't give a damn about us, they want to destroy us. And so it was really horrible what they did, and in a weird way, about a week before the election, I was praying to God because God has been with me the whole time, and I can't wait to tell you how I got into this in the first place. It was God. And well, let me detour actually. Before I tell you what happened in a conversation with me and God a week before the election, let me tell you how I got into this, okay? I grew up in Iowa in the 80s. President Reagan was my president. How many of you are children of the 80s? That's right. I call it the red pill generation. We didn't need red pills because we were living with, the greatest president of all. Actually, the second greatest president of all, Ronald Reagan. I think President Trump is the greatest president. An amazing thing, growing up in that, we saw Ronald Reagan come in and kind of save America from the ash heap that Jimmy Carter left us in. And he did that with optimism, with great policy. He brought us together through patriotism. And the left is so worried about patriotism because that is the one thing that binds us together. Whether you grew up in Cuba, whether you grew up in Pennsylvania, whether you grew up in Iowa, whether you grew up in another country, it's the one thing that binds us together. It doesn't matter what color your skin is, what your religion is. If you love this country, that's what binds us together. So, amen. So I registered as a Republican the day I turned 18. And I've been a Republican my whole life, except for a few years when I saw that we were being led from one war to the next, and I had those two precious babies on either hip. How many moms out there can hold two babies at a time? Okay, remember that? If you had two that were 18 months apart, you were holding two babies on your hips. And I looked at what they were offering us, and I said, these guys are just going to push us into another war, another endless war. And so I took a shot, I voted on a different ticket, and that turned out to be a mistake. They didn't give us any options. And then this amazing man came down the escalator about 8 years ago, almost to the date, and I said, thank you, God. Finally somebody who gets it, who's speaking to we the people, who wants to give the government back to us. By the way, his name is Donald Trump. I think you're familiar with him. And that's what 24 is about. It's about getting us back on that solid footing. There's a lot of new faces, though, jumping into the race. Have you noticed that? How many people do you think we have? I was told we have 1,000 people here. I don't know. Is that possible? I'm not a good... Okay. I have heard this because I never thought in my life I would actually be hiring pollsters, but I found myself hiring pollsters when I got into politics. And they say that the best polls are done when you have 1,000 people or right around there. I think the summers are really beautiful in Indiana. You might just want to go back there and hang out for the summer. I'll be honest, it's very sad to see how he turned his back on President Trump. And we the people on January 6th, when he had a chance to show some courage, he didn't do it. Actually, I just gave the keynote address at the Georgia convention because Mike Pence backed out last minute. Last minute. And you know, it's probably a good thing for the Georgia GOP because they were bleeding support. When people found out Mike Pence was speaking, they said, we want our money back. Which is sad because the Georgia GOP is actually a strong GOP and we need them to make money. They're actually pushing to get America First candidates in. When they called me and said, I'm giving up on this one. When they called me and I know how mics work sometimes, but we're talking about Mike Pence right now. I don't know how he works, actually. Mike? So they called me and said, can you please help us out? We need someone to speak. I said, absolutely. And they called me back the next morning and they said, we put out the word that you were going to speak and we sold out, most tickets ever, 900 people showed up. I promise you, I'm not saying that to be boastful. I'm really not. I'm saying that to tell these establishment rhinos, this party is the party of America first. We don't want anything else. America first, make America great again. Okay, so there's one other person I want to ask you about. I'm going to do a show of hands. There might be some people in this crowd. I might see a hand or two. How about, I want a show of hands. How many are for Ron DeSantis for the nominee? It's a character flaw. When somebody backs you up and supports you, and you turn your back, to me that tells me everything. Alright, so now there's a real poll. I wish we had like somebody here to measure the noise here, because we might actually cause an earthquake in Florida. How do you feel about this next candidate, my friend Donald J. Trump.
Overpriced posters anymore. It's over. It's over. Let me be very clear about everything right now. Donald Trump is the Republican nominee. Anyone who suggests otherwise is either delusional or they have the financial incentive to push one of these other candidates. And I mean, they're really not pushing the best with these other guys. Let's face it, these are high-priced DC consultants. They all want to grow a little bit of money. They want to make some money while they can. And they're trying to sell us something that we don't want and we don't need, frankly. We have the Babe Ruth of politics in our midst. Right? Why would we want some Little League players? This is crazy stuff. So we're not going to let them do it. Donald Trump is our guy. He's going to be the president. I think I know for a fact, I thought we had a couple of hands, but actually we didn't. There was no hands for any of these other candidates. I want you to know that if you go out there and encounter someone who's been brainwashed into one of these other guys, let them know, fine, go ahead, do what you want to do, but when the election's over, the primary, the presidential preference, and Trump is the nominee, we're gonna open our arms, give you a bear hug, and welcome you in, because we want you. I do. I want the Democrats who are waking up. I mean, Democrats are waking up every single day because of the nonsense they're seeing, and I want them. Inside every Democrat is a conservative, Republican, mega, ultra-mega Republican just dying to get out, right? So, we've seen enough of the nonsense. 8 years ago, as I said, Trump came down that escalator. He shook us out of that slumber we were in. A lot of us were just enjoying our lives, not even aware of how corrupt things were. How many of you, since Trump came down that escalator, have woken up to how corrupt our government is, how corrupt the news is? Unbelievable. Okay, this is how many of you knew before then? Okay, we have some OGs in here. Some OGs in here, don't we? I always think, I'm so awake right now. I mean, I think of the people who've been wide awake for 30 years, how hard it is for them.
Alex Jones.
How hard is it for us as we're waiting for more people to catch up to what's really going on in this world? Imagine if 30 years ago you were onto it. How hard it is for them. So I'm actually praying for them tonight. So we watched as the deep state and their mouthpiece in the propaganda news, as Trump calls them, fake news, continue to push this nonsense. They cannot keep this man down. Trump is a warrior. A warrior. He's Godzilla, and they're just little tiny geckos running around. Maybe an occasional iguana. But he's Godzilla. The more they attack him, the stronger President Trump gets. I was actually on the phone with him on Thursday night when the bogus BS indictment came down. And I have expected him to be a little bit down and out. I mean, how many times can you be punched before you just kind of go, oh, I can't take it? This guy was upbeat. I called him, he said, how are you, Kari? I go, who cares about me? How are you? How the hell are you? And he's doing great. He knows that America is with him, and he knows that this is just BS. And what he also knows is that the way the other side is reacting is not how you react when you are in a position of strength.
That's right.
How many of you are moms or dads or grandparents? You know what happens when there's a little temper tantrum going on with a toddler?
they're not in a position of strength, right? You just kind of watch them. The temper tantrums happening, you watch them thrash around, cry, and pretty soon they're done. And then you pick them up and go, okay, mom's right. Mom's right. So they're trying to bring Trump down because they know, and this is what scares them the most, they know that he has caught them in the most heinous crimes ever. And they're afraid. Donald Trump is a lion. A lion. Which actually is technically part of the cat family, right? And don't they say cats have 9 lives? I'm starting to think that Trump has way more than 9 lives, okay? Impeachment hoax number 1, impeachment hoax number 2, Russiagate, Russia, the perfect phone call, the lies of the media, all of this stuff. And that's why I'm going to go to Miami tomorrow and support him. The articles is written, you swear that I incited someone. It's like, come on, people. I'm talking about using our First Amendment, okay? Our First Amendment. I hope actually to see some of you there. Is anybody planning on just showing up to show support? Raise your hand. This is great. This is the greatest MAGA club I've ever seen. If you can't make it, I encourage you to say a prayer. Because I know that people pray for me all the time, and I will tell you, that means so much to me. And we all have Trump's back, I know that. I know every one of us would stand up, and we would fend off anybody who was trying to go after him. What we need to do, if we can, I know we're living in Biden country and Biden inflation right now, and it's not good. Right. Make a donation to Trump. They're trying to bleed his coffers with lawfare right now. You get that?
Oh, wow.
Meanwhile, the donor class is putting money into another candidate. They want to bleed his coffers so that he has no money left to fight for us. So if you can afford it, and I never like to ask for anything, but let's put 10, 20 bucks in Trump's coffers because he's going to fight this bogus BS. Corrupt swamp creatures are hell-bent on forcing us into something really ugly, and I think that's the reason we're here today. We know that if we don't stand up and fight right now, our kids, our grandkids are going to be stuck in a country where they have no rights, where the Bill of Rights doesn't exist, where they're owned and controlled by some globalist dictators. I'm going to tell you what, they have pissed off the wrong people. They've awoken the sleeping giant. And I'm not talking about Chris Christie. They woke up the mama bears, okay? There's a big difference between mom when she's mad, or even just extend this out to your wife. When your wife is mad, it's one thing. When your mom is mad, it's one thing. When your mom is pissed off, that's a whole nother level. And when you got the mama bears pissed off to where they're like, okay, we're taking care of our kiddos, we're raising a family, and now we have to go save our country, you've got pissed off women. And you do not want millions of pissed off women to be coming at you, and that's where we are right now. And this mama bear is going to protect and do everything she can to defend our lion, Donald J. Trump. How you ended up here. Like right now, I'm standing here going, pinch me, is this real? You know, 3 years ago, I was in the middle of my career. I told you I grew up in Iowa. Family of 9, youngest of 8 girls and 1 boy. So we had to work for everything. I mean, if we wanted toothpaste and shampoo, we had to get it.
Take a picture of that?
I'm not kidding. I babysat when I started babysitting at 7. This was back in the 70s where you would actually leave your baby with a 7-year-old, okay? I started babysitting at 7. I paid for my own toothpaste. I paid for my own shampoo. And I wouldn't trade any of that for anything. I'm glad I didn't have helicopter parents. My parents were too busy working to be helicopter parents. And so I worked my way through college. I started college at 16. I paid to be a broadcast journalist. I like to tell people stories. I was interested in how people made it in this world, and I wanted to tell people stories. So I worked really hard, and I said, what's happened to my industry? What's happened to journalism? It's ceased to become journalism. And so I, with my amazing husband, he's somewhere here, right there, amazing guy in the beard. He was watching me during COVID. They sent half of us home to work at home because we didn't want to spread COVID. And so I would finish doing the news, and I realized, wow, this is just a bunch of fear and division that's being pushed. And I don't want to push this on the people. I want to tell the full truth, not half-truths. So I talked to my husband. I said, I don't feel like I can do this anymore. This is really, really becoming difficult for me. I don't feel like I'm being honest with the people. How do you feel about me walking away from a 7-figure contract? To which my amazing husband said, if you want to, yes, go ahead and do that. And God gave me the strength. At one moment, I said, God, am I making the biggest mistake of my life here? Am I going to regret this? And the verse that was staring me back in the face was 1 Timothy chapter 6, verse 7. You bring nothing into this world, and you take nothing out. Right then, I took that as a sign from God, and I said, you know what? I need to walk away. Little did I know that the good people of Arizona, who I'd covered for 27 years, would tell me after seeing the video I put out, explaining to them why I was leaving. It wasn't because I didn't love them, I just didn't want to be dishonest with them. They started reaching out to me in droves, by the thousands, saying, thank you for being honest. We knew something was wrong in the media. Would you please consider running for office? And I thought, okay, they must hate me. I'm leaving the world of the fake news, the corrupt corporate news, and they want me to get into the even more corrupt world of politics? Are they do they think I'm crazy? But then I got to thinking about our founding fathers. Guess what? They wanted us, we the people, to run for office. They did not. Samuel Adams, John Hancock, none of these guys envisioned Nancy Pelosi, okay? They didn't. They didn't envision Joe Biden, who, what didn't he say once he was in politics for 100 years? It feels like that. They wanted farmers and ranchers and business people and fathers, and at the time they probably didn't imagine mothers, let's be honest. But they wanted real people, citizen politicians, as Ronald Reagan said, to step forward and run. And not want to be career politicians. I'm done with those people. You run, you represent the people of your community, you do good things for them, you help make our country better, and then you back up and you go back to your life. That's how it's supposed to be. So I agree. And I'll tell you, we led the most incredible campaign, 525 days on the campaign trail. We did anywhere from 6 to 10 events a day. I treated every day like it was the most important breaking news day of my life. Incredible people, we had incredible solutions, common sense, America first. I called it Arizona first, because we took what Trump did on a national scale and we boiled it back down to Arizona. We need to remind these states that we're 50 sovereign states. We're not serfs of the federal government. And I started sounding the alarm bells about rotten, rigged elections. The other Republican candidates were rhinos. They didn't want to talk about it. I started talking about the border and how we need to secure it and call it what it is, an invasion on our border. The other guys didn't want to talk about it. The Arizona swamp knew that with a Governor Kari Lake, they were going to get the border shut down to crime. They were going to get honest elections, and they said, oh my God, we can't do that. And so they had to steal the election. They put 300,000 bogus ballots in, pumped in, with no chain of custody. And then they rigged our election machines on 3 different dates in October, 14th, 17th, and 18th. They rigged our election machines to fail on election day when Republican voters were showing up. And we caught them. We got them on video doing it. And sadly, we still have judges who are ruling against us. But you know what? That's okay. We know the system is corrupt from top to bottom. And what we're trying to do is wake the American people up. If they're going to rig our elections, then we are enslaved. Then we are enslaved people, and we're not going to allow for that. So we're going to continue to reject Republican politicians who are capitalizing on this illegitimate indictment of Trump. We're going to reject Republican politicians who say, don't talk about the 2020 election. Don't vote for those people. And if you get an establishment candidate who's got the stones to stand up here on this stage, you got to ask them, what do you think about the 2020 election? Was 2022 fair? And if they backpedal, if they try to hem and haw about it, do not give those people your vote, okay? We're going to solve our election problem here. We see them for who they are. We really do. We don't want people who are puppets and someone's pulling the strings, right? We're going to cut those strings right now. We're tired of them. It's time to cut the strings. We don't want a president who's bought and paid for by the CCP. We don't want a president who's bought and paid for by Zelensky. And this isn't a rumor, this is a fact. And this is why they're having this bogus indictment of Trump. Because on the same day we found out that Biden took another payout from the communist regime in China, the same day they indicted Trump. We're sick of it. We're sick of it. So we're ready. We're ready to not have these candidates controlled by our foreign adversaries, the military-industrial complex. We want a president who works for we the people. And I think there's only one man who qualifies. You guys know who I'm talking about, right? Donald Trump. So I really am, I found myself in politics on this amazing journey with the most incredible people. We didn't have politicos behind us. We had mama bears who were dropping their kids off at school. They had 3 or 4 free hours, and they would normally work out, have coffee. They were getting politically involved. We had grandmothers, dads, students. The young people are with us even right now. We have an opportunity. Yeah? Because you know why? They had the most amazing years of their life taken from them by this outrageous COVID policy. Just think for 1 second what we were doing when we were 18 to 25 years old. Don't verbalize it, but just think about it. We don't have to tell everybody what we were up to. They didn't have that opportunity to have that fun. They were masked up even longer than anybody else. Our children were masked up longer than anybody else. They lost their ability to play sports and get scholarships, to hang out with their friends, to do prom, to, all of the things that we did. And these young people know who's behind that. And that's why they're with Donald Trump and really the America First movement, because they've got to chart the course for their future. And they're counting on us to rise to this occasion. When I walked away from my salary, I really thought, what good is this major, massive paycheck? What good is your paycheck? What good is your pension, your 401k, and your investment if we don't have a country to enjoy that in? We need to put everything on the line. The next year and 4 months, I am willing to literally drain my bank account, work my ass off to save this country. I really am. And listen, I've been working since I was 7. If I drain it all, we get Trump in office, he turns it around, I'll start over. I'm happy to start over. I can wait tables. I know how to. I was a janitor at one moment in my life. I am willing to take everything I've got and throw it at saving this country. Who's ready to do that? Who's willing to give everything we've got to saving our country? Our ancestors are counting on it. Our ancestors, the ones who signed the Declaration of Independence, are counting on it. The ones who crafted the United States Constitution are counting on us right now. Not only our children, but those who came before us. Those who stormed the beaches at Normandy, Omaha Beach. Those young men, 18 years old, saved this world. and they're counting on us to stand up right now. We can't just have Trump standing up. Think about this. If one of you stands up, Caroline, if stand up. She's like, what are you doing? You all know Caroline Wren, right? My team. She's a fighter. If one of us stands up, we go, no, stay standing up. We go, that's a brave soul. I stood up and I walked away from the fake news. If another person stands up, we go, okay, I guess I can. And we got another one, and another one, and another one, and pretty soon we're all standing up. They can't arrest all of us. They can't indict all of us. They can't stop all of us. We are so powerful together, and we know that, guys, we know that. And so we don't care what names they call us. We don't care if they call us election deniers. I've been called worse. Actually, that's kind of a funny name. I'm not denying the election happened. I know it was rigged to high heaven. So we're no longer the silent majority. We are the major majority, the overwhelming majority. I'm going to use my voice. I'm going to fight in the courts. I'm going to lawfare these bastards to death. America great again. I want to thank you all for being here tonight. You guys got my new book. Read it. You're the first ones in the country to get it. I love you so much. I love you, Florida. I love this country. I love these patriots. God bless you, and God bless Donald Trump, and God bless America.
dictator.
Oh, so were you in New York at the time?
No, I was here. I got it here. Yeah.
Right on. Well,
I've been on the train since.
are you guys going to be out tomorrow at the courthouse?
Ladies and gentlemen, if we can have help.
I'm not going to the courthouse.
Excellent help. Thank you so much.
But Mar-a-Lago tomorrow and Wednesday for his birthday.
So you guys are going to be at Mar-a-Lago? So people are going to be at Mar-a-Lago in the courthouse?
Who has endorsed?
A lot of people are going to Miami on the train, but the train I heard was sold out.
In July.
So
See the second
yeah.
Monday in
people are
July.
having to carpool.
So tell me about that photo right there.
This is about 3 weeks ago when we ran into Don Jr. out on his dock at his house in Jupiter. We presented him with a flag to fly behind his 41-foot Bahamas boat. It's called the Don Father.
So that's the moment that you gave him the flag.
That's the moment he unveiled it, held it out, and we took the picture.
Are you guys going to be out tomorrow?
I will be in Miami with my blue Jeep tomorrow.